What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Wixo video. And today, Wixo.com. So for the first event we see here, the British. Now the British is owned by this Dutch country here, and well, as you know, in every single Wixo, the British cannot be a thing. Neither can the French. So we are gonna see the British destroy itself. So I'm gonna have to give a little story, so here we go. So in the Dutch country, in the British Isles area, over here, there is a lot of unrest in these areas, and so much that there is a little rebellion in Scotland. It's actually so bad that all of the Scottish areas over here in this Wixo, just that. In another area, which is over here near modern day London, also break away. Until finally, the last one, but they are soon to be just left. So they form their own country, and boom, boomba clot. Now with the cities already there, they can just make their capitals that. And that one can be that one, and Scotland can have that. Yippee! Now this brings us to this little country area, this little area. Now this brings us here to this formerly known area as Spain. Now this is just, they call it something else. I couldn't tell you. Everyone has different languages in this, I guess. We're gonna call it Bibbly Bobbity Boom. This is a Bibbly Bobbity Boom. Okay, so the brown country over here, they're pretty big, Northern Africa. They do Northern African things. But however, the Italians, the Corsicans, they want to have all of the Spain area down here, including up here too, because like if they want to keep their Spanish areas, then they're gonna have to like invade these guys, because they look weird. Nobody likes them anyway. But the Corsicans send a message to these guys over here in modern day Libya, I think. And they're like, hey, you should give us your Spanish claims. And they're like, why should we? And they're like, oh, because we want it. We want that. We want that. And they're like, hell nah. So you know what happens? The Corsicans invade into their land, taking it by force. Now, they also aren't stupid, so they also push into this area over here. And this begins the war of the war. The War of the Wars, episode 10. Whoa. So, as Corsica pushes in to this Spanish lands, the brown team over here is going to make an offensive to kick them out of their land. The brown team is going to do a surprise invasion on this island here that I forgot the name of, Sardinia. but they're going to get pushed out pretty quick because, well, it's Corsica. Corsica right there, Sardinia right there, boom, 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 shakalaka. But this team is also going to push back into the invasion, back into its previously claimed land. But before they get to take it all, the Corsicans do an offensive and they split this little area in two and just crush these guys in like Napoleon, like focus on one guy first. And they just start invading rapidly into them. And as soon as all the guys from up here retreat, they die because that is claimed. And so, like, so yeah, these guys get kicked out of Spain, and Italy is just plowing into them, or plowing. Now this country. So if I accidentally forgot to click play, then I'm just gonna put a little brief thing on here on what happened. So basically, this country, Corsica, they did little maneuvers, split the country in half, took that side, and then these guys had defenses. And so it kind of just went on a stalemate for 5 years, and now they're doing a peace treaty. So, yeah. So, of course, for this peace treaty, we see the Corsicans obviously taking all of Spain, as well as these little areas right over here. Right here. The Corsicans also demanded this land, as well as just they just cut their stupid little things in half. They left them the capital city. They left them the major city, though, so that's nice. So that there is the war between these two, with this not changing very much. I mean, Corsica is Corsica. They call themselves the heart of the West Mediterranean. And then the next event, this brings us to the full exploration of the Sahara. Finding this lake here, though, that's pretty cool. So they got to live for a little longer. But yeah, sooner or later, the whole African area gets filled in. And boom, now all we need to do is get that. But, like, no one wants to do that. Who does that? Yeah, that's the real question. Now, remember last episode when I made this country, and I said that there was a lot of religions and didn't show it? Well, apparently I cut that part out on accident. So, here's proof that there's a lot of religions in this area. So this is in a very stable place. And so they can't really grow well. So they're probably just going to implode and then everyone gets to grow themselves. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Now, speaking about these little countries here, they are going to grow because they are tiny and they need to grow. So this pink country, they are going to expand their land claims up into the nearby lakes, everywhere, even over here, because, like, yeah, their dream is to get to that one lake that they helped discover, and they are going to manage that. Oh, okay, they just ran out of materials to expand their stuff. Ooh, sad. Anyway, next country, and this brings us to this blue one. They are also going to use their materials to expand meeting into these little dried up lakes that they're like, hey, weren't there supposed to be lakes here? As well, they grow to about that much before running out of material. Now, these people know over here in this yellow country, they're like, yeah, we are not getting to that lake. So they're like, let's just expand outwards. And a while ago, there was actually this really cool ravine that we noticed. So we're going to claim that ravine. Yes, that's what that line is. It is a ravine. It is a very cool ravine, and you're going to go into the comments and say, I love the very cool ravine. Right now. You do that right now. I'm waiting. If I had a camera, I'd be staring at your soul, but I don't. For next episode, we're gonna need ideas. So, like, in the comments, drop some down in the comments. So, yeah. Next country. So, after the yellow country expanded, we are going to have this purple one expand and meet up with this other purplish one. They're also gonna meet up with the the Cape area. And this is our Africa. It's looking very tribal. Like, very slim amount of, like, a bunch of crap. I don't know. But anyway, they don't get to expand very much. We're gonna wait a few years and see if the friggin' cities expand or whatever, because there's a lot of countries without major cities, and we need to give them major cities. So let's wait for them to make some. And boom. So the multiple years have ended, and now there's a lot more capitals now, or major cities. I keep getting those two mixed up. It's weird. Okay, guys, so you remember what happened over here in this episode earlier? Well, we are going to be seeing these two here. They are going to be united. Now, the problem with that is they're French. So everyone's going to hate that. Everyone. Every single person. I'm just kidding, but like, obviously the Italians won't like that. But who are they to care? Right, guys? So the country unites under this one orange banner. Now it looks a little off, so I'm gonna mess with the color a little bit. You'll see that. Yeah, like that color. Now, there's one thing that the Romans can do, or the Corsicans, if you really want to call them that. They can ask nicely, which they always do, because they're just like that. So, the Corsicans are going to ask the French Union, hey, could we have these two little provinces over here? So, it's like four. Could we have these four little provinces here so we could connect our land? And you know what? The French actually say yes. So let's see that. And eventually, this is what happens. Wow. This is just the Western Mediterranean Empire. Because it owns all of the West Mediterranean. It's just basically like a downgraded Roman Empire. Just like, yeah, Western Roman Empire. That's cool. So guys, you know this alliance tab where there's 3 alliances here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And so, even though these French people said yes to that, they only said it because they weren't ready enough to go to a war. So, you know what they do? They're like, hey, does anyone want to join my alliance? They're like, and then there's a few people, they're like, hell yeah! And this Star Alliance forms. And, well, so the Star Alliance forms, and two countries immediately join it. This little greenish one and this yellower one. Now, they all just discreetly dislike the square lines. So, they are just there to protect each other from these guys. So, yeah. Next event. After a really big thunderstorm that happened in the Sahara randomly, there is a humongous flood from this lake here. And it just floods the whole thing. Because this is relatively flat area. It's a relatively flat area of sand. And if we see rivers here, the rivers here, water comes in from places here, and it empties out somewhere else. But as the flood continues happening, it eventually ends up like this, and it makes a few rivers. One of them is like, should be like water. Next through here. It actually reaches through into there. This is happening over like tens of years. I know I'm just speeding this up because I'm lazy and don't feel like actually like making the time to make this make sense, but like, yeah. Now let's actually see the friggin' thing. Okay guys, so that's the end of episode 10. 1-0. And so, yeah. Hope you guys have a good day, and subscribe. Bye.